Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the first in a series of taste tests I'm going to do with these pawpaws, and then we'll sort of stitch them together all at once, because as I mentioned in the labeling and storage video, it's one of those things where, you know, there's only so many pawpaws that I'd like to eat at one time. I love pawpaws, but they're also a very intensely flavored fruit, and we only have so many, so I don't want to cut 8 different ones all at one time. So we're going to do these in kind of spurts and talk a little bit about the different varieties, kind of show you what they look like, discuss some of the flavor characteristics, and you can see the differences between them. So for this part of the taste test, we have a sunflower, which is one of our favorites generally. We have a tree of this variety in our yard. You saw it in some of the other videos probably. That tree in our yard has 30 some fruit on it. This is one we got from the festival, so it's kind of fun. Over here we have an Allegheny, which is one of my all-time favorites. I have a tree of Allegheny in the yard as well, but it's just a baby right now. Smaller fruit though, you can see. Smaller but delicious. This is a wild fruit. I'm intrigued by this. You can see it's orange where the stem was. Sometimes they break off. That's what that is. So that's just a wild one. Again, about the size of the Allegheny. This is a table guy one. I mentioned it was a guy who just had a bunch of miscellaneous ones, so I labeled it T. Don't know what that one is really, but fun to include. And one of my other favorites, Shenandoah. We have a tree of Shenandoah that gave us fruit last year. We had 3 fruit. This year we have 11 on that tree. This is from the festival. So I'm going to cut these and then we'll taste them. And so what we're going to do is I'll kind of just talk about each one of them as we taste them, and then we'll give them a grade like A, B, C, D, F. So just basically our honest opinion. So let's slice the sunflower first. Beautiful looking. Great color, nice and yellow. You can sort of see that. Sunflower is a lot of fun, that pawpaw. So let's take a taste. Kind of see. I'm going to just scoop it out. You can see what that looks like. Really creamy, really intense flavor. It's, you know, it's interesting because just like apples, just like any other fruit, but apples are one of my other passions. I'm sort of obsessive about apples as well. You know, one apple tastes so different from another. The same thing is true with pawpaw. This one has a very buttery, yeah, very buttery texture, mild flavor, but also pawpaw-y, if that makes sense. If you've had pawpaws, you kind of know. People say, what does a pawpaw taste like? It's really, you know, I always say almost a little like Red Bull sometimes. It sounds weird, but it's like a weird combination of like tropical, sweet, juicy fruit gum sometimes. This one, very tropical. Save your seeds. Those are good for planting. All you have to do is throw them in your fridge until spring, and then sprout them in pots, or just plant them in the ground right now. You can do that too. They have to cold stratify. Pretty good. Creamy, buttery, mild, no bitterness. That's the thing. Sometimes pawpaws will have a lingering bitterness to them, particularly the wild varieties. Not the strongest flavored pawpaw, sunflower. It's a very mild flavor, but a really good aroma. Yeah, smell. Really, really good aroma. And I love sunflower. This is one of our favorites because of the fact that it's mild flavor. So there's a little bitterness every once in a while. I'm getting a little bitterness with some bites, and that's the thing that people that don't like sunflower will say, is sometimes it can be bitter. Every now, like if you scrape too close to the skin, you'll get some bitterness, but in the middle of the fruit it's really good. But if you start doing this and kind of scrape the skin, that's where you're going to get the bitterness from it. If you're, you know, eating it like a yogurt and you're doing this trying to get every last bite, you're going to get some bitter fruit. Really good. I would say, I'd say I'd give that one like a B. So we're both going to give it a B. There's two of us doing this taste test. Just a solid B. I think it's good. And I think that for sunflower, that's about a good representation of what that's like. It's a pretty mild flavor. Can be bitter if you're not careful and start scraping the skin, but that's true of almost any pawpaw. But really nice aroma. Just real mild. I'm going to cut now into one of my all-time favorites, Allegheny. Look at that. Look at the color of it. It's like orangish. You can see the difference here. Little different in color. Sunflower, as you know, it's yellow. It's not like not too surprising that it's yellow if it's called sunflower. But look at this. Orange custard. Whoa, that's just out of this world. Allegheny, I think, is the best. That's why we have a tree. They're small, and so sometimes because they're small, they don't draw like the attention of the really big monster ones. But you can see that's a little bit more on the orange side. And orange, to me, pawpaws, when they're orange, they have like no bitterness at all. This one tastes like passion fruit to me. There's a definite passion fruit flavor in here. This is amazing. Just incredible. This is an A for sure. This is a solid A for me. Allegheny. Tough to find these trees. At the festival they had like every other variety. To me, this is a really strong passion fruit flavor. And I like passion fruit, so no, I don't detect any bitterness. Look at that fruit in there. It's just like custard. Fantastic. So good. Yeah, I would say passion fruit is the predominant flavor in that. Creamy. I don't detect even a hint of bitterness in there at all. Nowhere. And it's funny too, because look, so now you can see the difference in color there between the two. The lighting makes it a little harder to see. But, so pawpaws will range from like white inside to yellow inside to like orange inside, and then anything in between. So even the color of the flesh is going to be different. That is so good. So let's cut into another one. Another one of my favorites, Shenandoah. These tend to be a larger pawpaw. Oh, look at that. Very light color. So lighter color, more yellow, and you can kind of see there sort of the flesh difference. Now Shenandoah, this is a small Shenandoah. They get gigantic, but they have like I would say an ivory color. Ooh. Let's take a taste. Really good too. So for me, Shenandoah, it is a very mild flavor. So it's a really good starter pawpaw, if you will. So somebody who maybe, regular, one of the more intense flavored ones is going to be a little much for them. Shenandoah is really good because it, in a sense, I mean, look at that, has a very mild taste. A lot of banana. So if Allegheny was passion fruit, this is like a banana. It's very similar to a banana. That's true. Good point. My fellow taste tester pointed out it's a banana flavor. And so some people don't like, some of the more hardcore pawpaw people say, Shenandoah is not strong enough flavor. But it's one of my favorites for that reason. I like pawpaw. Just like apples. When you think apples, they have all different flavors. Look at that. It's just like custard. That's another A for me. Now, A minus maybe. Only because it is a little mild. Now, it's how it is. And so, that's, I think, what just puts Allegheny above by a little bit is just the flavor is so intense, but not bitter. And that's the thing. Your wild pawpaws, a lot of them, and we'll cut one in a minute, a lot of the wilds are going to be really intense, but they'll also come with a bitterness. And these have it all sort of bred out. You know, these selected, you know, at one time these were wild. They were just selected for their quality and grafted by Neil Peterson in this case. But just unbelievable. So good. Gooey. Now to me that's the perfect ripeness right there. Some people would say, oh, that's not ripe enough. To me that's absolutely perfect. That in this Allegheny. I don't like them when they're black skinned. You can try one like that. If you have pawpaws, you're going to have one that has black skin. Give it a try. You might like it. But figure that out before you let them all go that way though. So that's the Shenandoah. I'm going to cut a wild. I'm really intrigued by this wild. With wild, you never know what's going to happen. That was kind of a weird texture when I was cutting it, but I think I hit a seed. So, wild are like a Russian roulette. You just never know what's going to happen. Let me get down in there, get some fruit. So now, here's the difference too. Look at all the seeds in here. Seed, 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 packed with seeds. This giant Shenandoah has like 6 seeds in it, this whole huge fruit. There's like 8 seeds in this little section of this wild. There's almost no actual fruit in here. Let me taste. Oh, that's no good. That tastes like poison. Oh, it's not poison, but it tastes terrible. Just being honest. You want the honest taste test. That is disgusting. Oh my god. It tastes like... What does it taste like? I'm trying to think of the right way. It's really bitter, number one. Really bitter. Oh my god. It kind of tastes like a watery, bitter pear that's not ripe. I think that's the best way to describe it. If you were to take a pear, take away all of its good qualities, water it down, and spray like Raid into it, that's what that tastes like. That is absolutely disgusting. And so, now, here's the thing. If that's your first pawpaw you ever had, if you had never had a pawpaw and you ate that, you'd probably never want one again. That is absolutely horrible. So... that happens. And I wouldn't save those seeds unless you really needed seeds for rootstock, because of course you just graft another variety onto it. Just top it off and graft it. But we have plenty of seeds. That is awful. Truth in advertising. So here's Table Guy. I'm not even going to go back to that. My co-taste tester doesn't even want that one. This is interesting. We have no idea what variety this is. This is from the Table Guy. The cat's even getting into the action here. This one's like a bubblegum flavor. Try the Table Guy. Interesting. It just tastes like bubblegum. No bitterness. Good quality. Not bad. I don't know what it is, what flavor it is. Because, so this one, he said that they were a mixture of Peterson varieties and seedlings from Peterson varieties. So that's another thing too, is if you have a good fruit, unlike apples, there is some variation in pawpaws, but there's a much greater chance that if you like the fruit and plant the seed, you're going to get a fruit on that tree that you're going to like as well. That's pretty good. It tastes like bubble gum. That's really cool. That's really good. And so the thing is, like, so if you get a name variety and you plant the seed, there's also a good chance, if it's a name variety, that it was pollinated by another name variety on an orchard. So the genetics are pretty good there. This is good. Whatever variety this is, he just had a mix bag. That's really good though. Look at that. It's almost like rice pudding. Yeah, to me that's like bubble gum. Really good. Okay, we're back for the second phase of the taste test. Today I have a PA Golden, which is the last variety that we haven't tried on camera, so I'll try that one. And then another one, another select seedling from the table, calling them the table guys, pawpaws. These were all Peterson pawpaw seedlings, you know, so they're not 100% true to variety, but they're still pollinated by probably another Peterson variety. So we'll cut these first. Now usually I cut them this way, but I'm gonna try cutting them the long way. Try to get that Pawpaw magazine picture. There we go. That actually worked really well. I don't usually have great luck with that. We'll try it. So that's the PA Golden. Just sort of like an avocado. There's the table one. Let's start with the PA Golden. This might be a little under, but let's see. It's really good. So this is a tad under, maybe. A tad under ripe. You can see it's a little firmer, but I actually don't mind them when they're like that. Obviously you don't want them hard. That's not hard. It's still like a yogurty consistency. It's good. It's got like a pineapple vanilla flavor. Little bubble gum. That's so interesting. You know, that's the thing about these fruits, that it's people say, what does a pawpaw taste like? Every bite's a little different on this one. I would say pineapple, not really actually as much. Indecisive. Vanilla for sure. Bubblegum for sure. Maybe those are the major notes. I got a little pineapple on the first taste. But overall pretty good, and obviously a little under because, you know, the flesh is not as soft. So look at this one, you can see the difference. It's much more of a sort of, the seedling is much more of a melting quality. Look at that. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's much more like a pudding consistency. So the seedling, yeah, this one's a little bitter. Now this is interesting. You see, this has some of that darkness. I think, to me, when they get like this, they get a little bitter. This one's a little under what I would like. But it does have that brown, but the rest of it is a tad under. It's not quite like it should be. But the PA Golden's really nice. Even though it's a touch under, it's still nice consistency wise. Like a thick Greek yogurt. Very vanilla-y, I would say. A lot of seeds in there. But yeah, there's another. Yeah, very tropical, like a tropical vanilla combination, I would say. Pretty happy with it. If we're going to the grading system, I'd give this Pennsylvania Golden a B, which is about what I give Pennsylvania Golden, about a B anyway. It's good, but nothing wrong with it. Tasty, very mild. And so some pawpaws will have a very, very strong, kind of almost chemical-y type flavor. This doesn't have any of that. It's pretty good. Very nice. Tropical, custardy. I guess vanilla, caramel. Maybe that, like a creme brulee, like a vanilla caramel flavor. I think that's what I'm settling on for this one, for the PA Golden. You taste sugar and vanilla, and a tiny bit of maybe like a pineapple or a tropical kind of background flavor. Tasty. Save your seeds. You know, so I'll make a video specifically on that, but save your seeds, just toss them in a bowl just like that, throw them in the fridge, and then just clean them when you have a bunch of them. After about a week or so, clean the flesh off of them so you have clean seeds, and then you save them in the fridge. I'll make a video on that. But that's not bad. This one isn't very good. I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, not real good. This one tastes watery, kind of watery, a little bitter. Really not much to recommend it, you know. So again, this goes to show, I know I was pretty candid in my assessment of one of the wild pawpaws in the other part of the video, but you know, you have to be honest, and not everyone is great. And so that's why I highly, highly recommend, if you're trying pawpaws for the very first time, get a named variety, because your named varieties are not going to be bitter, watery, weird like that one. That could be a wild one, because actually the guy said he had some wild ones too. I'll slice another just for fun. This is another little one, another mixed bag one. So that mixed bag one, not so good. Last night I had a mixed bag one. I didn't film it, but it was amazing. It just tasted like vanilla. It was so good. So, you know, wild pawpaws or seedlings, they could be almost anything. Okay. So this one, a little more orange in the flesh. Let's get in there and take a taste. Oh. Whoa, that is really strong. Ooh, that's a wild one, I bet. That is very strong and very, well, not very bitter, but not inedibly bitter. This one is very sweet, very strong, slightly bitter. That's got to be one of the wild ones. That's kind of like the flavor profile. So what this one tastes like is if you take the taste of a Red Bull, you know, that sort of really weird chemically fruit sweet taste, and made it a touch bitter. It's not the most pleasant. This one doesn't bring me back for more. So, you know, I've gotten to the point, I used to eat them no matter what, just because, but, you know, I've gotten spoiled with the good ones now. So that one, I don't care for that. So that's again, not a winner. So again, these are wild. So out of the wild slash seedling, I've had some good, but I've had some bad. Those are not good. That's better than that one, but I don't bother saving those seeds, although you can, because obviously they'll make really good rootstock. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed our taste test video, and we hope to see you again soon. We'll hopefully be harvesting some pawpaws from the yard in just a few days.